I don't usually do this, but I'm in Merrick. It's a Merrick pickup to a Merrick drop off. You know when it shows you it's only 5 minutes total for picking up and delivery, but they don't share how much you get paid? Because it's so local, I'm going to give it a try. This is a package to Melissa Courier. It says here. Let's see what happens. I'm very curious. Oh, and you see where it says pickup type? Meet at curbside. This woman came outside, curbside pickup. I'm across the street on Merrick Avenue, and she gave me this. I don't know what's in it. That's all right. It's from a little boutique, but the drop-off is not in Merrick. It's in Rockville Center. She said I need, of course, to bring it in, but when people pick up from her, she comes to the car. She came across the street. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot, the school's opening. There's a lot going on. I should get over right now while I have a chance. But this is a Rockville Center drop-off. I'm very curious to see how much it pays. They said 5 minutes. Well, this is why I never take those orders, those offers, because they don't tell you how much you're getting paid. And I had a feeling, well, I really thought it was a Merrick pickup, Merrick drop-off. It's a Rockville Center drop-off. But I'll do it. She was so sweet. She came to the car, and it will be a learning experience. Let's see what happens. She told me it's not on Sunrise. You got to go in the back in the parking lot. I'm familiar with Rockville Center. And she said you do have to go inside. Now, Rockville Center is very hard to find parking, and you have to pay the meter parking, too. You know what I mean? There's more involved here now. There's a lot more involved because of where I'm dropping off to. But that parking, if I have to pay, parking is a business expense. I already have that. Type it into the QuickBooks, and I have a folder. I have an envelope in my folder to save the receipt showing that I paid for parking. It was not worth it. Do you see? $5.54. I would have not taken that. And now I know not to bother anymore. That's why I don't take those package offers, because they don't tell you how much you're going to get paid, and they're not telling you where you're dropping off. I'll never do it again. I did it out of curiosity. I really thought it was a Merrick drop-off, Merrick pickup, Merrick drop-off, not even close. You see the route, $5.54. At least I did one that paid $8 and change on the way back. I picked up at Mickey D's on the way home, and I earned something on the way back. Okay. I just completed a Dlivrd delivery. This was the best delivery I ever completed. It was civilized, respected the service I was providing. And when I walked in, the receptionist for the building greeted me and told me to go, over here to a room that was all, the clear walls like windows. And you see they're having a conference, they're having a serious meeting. And there was 8 people there. I say 8 people. I only looked at the woman that stood up and came up to the table when I entered. And we were very quiet because they were talking business. And I was like, I got it, thank you. And she was like, great. She went right back because she was a part of the conversation. So in the notes, it does say setup. Now, when I set up, in this picture, this is the way a setup should be. I did remove the saran wrap. Well, the saran wrap was wrapped around the food. I did not have to open the food. I don't open food. No one ever tells me to open food. The spoons, I left the plastic on the top part that goes into the food, but it's ready just to be pulled off. You see that in the picture. Then, even the sides, I took off the saran wrap. I made very little noise. I didn't crunch up the bags. I just placed them around the garbage pail in the room. So I didn't make noise. Because in this meeting, they had somebody on the screen too. You had to be quiet. When I was done, I took my 2 pictures. I put my bags on my cart, and I looked up at the woman. I didn't look at anyone else, but I say there was 8 people there. She was like, thank you, it looks beautiful. That's the way it should be done. They were appreciative. They didn't buy so much food. Now, this happens a lot. You hear people say, well, I ordered as much as I could so we could take food home. Because, you know, the animals, they're scavengers. I want to get something for free all the time. These were civilized, classy people. And I believe the other people looked up, and I was, you know, I looked at her. She's the one who stood up. I made sure I said goodbye, thank you, and she was like, it looks beautiful. Because it's all set up that they just get up, they have their little bite, their little lunch, and get out. You know? That's the way it should be done. I'm learning, because now I've been doing it for 2.5 years, there are, at least half, there are people in groups and environments, work environments, that they try to make it seem as if their services are more needed than they really are. You know, you learn that. I guess that happens in any industry. Any industry. You start weeding out people because you realize the tasks that they're doing, performing, aren't really needed. This said setup included. This was a $44 payout because I stayed a little time. The store did not know that the order was, they had a catering order, but it was only $222 worth of guac food. They ordered the quarter tray, the little black trays. That's plenty for 8 people. You have a whole tray of chips. Then in that bag, I just left it in there because I want them to know those are soft tortillas and the regular tacos. Look at all those sides. They had 12 bottles of water. Do you really need more than that for lunch? You know? Oh, someone's texting me. So, my friend Rob. So that's the way it should be done. This was a perfect example of a properly completed delivery. You know, you don't always need assistance. I'm here to provide a service. If you leave me alone, that took me 12 minutes. I say 12 minutes, just under 15, 12 minutes. And I was cruising and I was quiet. That's key. I hope I got it in the picture. The bags, I just placed them around the garbage pail. This was perfect. This is the way it always should be. And I really did appreciate the way she was like, it looks beautiful. Thank you. Class act. One more thing about opening up food. It's when the saran wrap is under the top tin. You know, here's the cover, here's the saran wrap, then here's the food. That's really messy to open. And it's not just about being messy. It's about you're touching the food now. So if anyone ever got sick, it could be blamed on you too. Because you touched the food. You exposed the food. You uncovered the food. Because when you're taking off those saran wraps that are underneath the half tin covers, it gets messy and you're touching everything. This isn't like it's wrapped in something, you drop something, no harm, no foul. And then you take off the wrapper, you rinse it, you take off the wrapper, hey, nobody's getting hurt. I mean, I'm still here, you know, come on. But you're actually touching food that now everybody's going to scoop into, you know? And that makes, I would think, the driver, you know, liable if anything happens to anyone, you know, like an illness, a food illness. You can contaminate the dish. So, showing you that picture of all the saran wrap off the containers, the spoons ready just for the end to be ripped off nice and easily. No mess. Unwrapped all the sides, like all the, you know, the guac and the pico de gallo. Make it easy for them just to pop off some tops, and here's a spoon. You know what I mean? So that's 2 major reasons why I don't like opening up food. I rarely do. Because it is messy, and you can contaminate a whole half a tray of food. Absolutely. No question about it. Yesterday I completed a Dlivrd delivery. And instead of repeating the whole story, I'm just going to share a video with you that I sent to my friend. It's a short video, about a minute long, but I sent it to my friend Rob to tell him, to share with him what happened in the field. And stuff like this happens all the time. Us drivers have a lot to figure out as we're rolling around with $500-600 worth of food. It happens often, but people like us make it happen. That's why businesses continue to use the service, because of drivers like us. And that's how I feel. Not all drivers are in the same category, delivery drivers. Nope, not at all. Hello, Rob. I just delivered that afternoon order for that $50 payout. It's 200 Old Country Road, Langone, dialysis, part of the hospital. And I've been here before. I knew to go all the way up and go on the cross path, but the person that ordered the food never picked up, never gave me, well, they told me the dialysis center at 200, but didn't give me a suite. I mean, it took me 15 minutes. I was on the elevator. I went on every floor until someone said, "Do you need help?" I said, "Yes, I do." They took me outside of the building and told me to go down to the corner. That's where the entrance is. How do I know that? No, there's no notes. You know, and I've been here twice, so it wasn't a problem. But I was also met at the end of the corridor. It's called corridor. It didn't have to be that hard. You know, I was 30 minutes late because I'm glad it's over. I got one order for tomorrow. Guac shop, I believe, in Montauk. $41. Plainview drop off.